Thank you for joining me for part 8 of Frostica by Eric B., author of the Night Crusader series. A few minutes before 8 a.m. on Friday, December 5th, 2504, Lucas arrived at the office with a facial expression of obvious sadness and dejection. Coincidentally, Janice was the first person who saw him upon his arrival and voiced her curiosity as to the meaning behind the down in the dumps look on Lucas's face. Taking note of his hesitant response, Janice took Lucas's hand and led him into her office before anyone had a chance to observe his current mood. She closed the door behind them. "What's wrong?" she immediately began. "My world got turned upside down," Lucas replied, like someone who had lost all hope. "What happened?" she asked. "I just found out everything I believed all these years is a lie." Janice held an eager expression on her face as Lucas continued. "At the end of my Tree World tour, I was given a snow globe, which took me back in time to that one Christmas I told you about. There I saw what really happened." Then she said, "Oh yeah? And what was that?" Lucas did not hesitate. "My grandfather saw my letter to Santa." "He did?" Janice asked, somewhat surprised. "How did he even know about the letter?" He said, "Well, I went to him to get a stamp for the letter so I could mail it, but instead of mailing it, he opened it." And she said, "Ah, I see. And he read your letter to Santa." He said, "Mm-hmm." "But wait," Janice recalled, "I thought you said your parents couldn't afford it." And he said, "Well, normally they couldn't. But when Grandpa showed my letter to Dad hit the overtime at work pretty hard for a month and a half so he could afford it. Guess he didn't want me to be disappointed." And she said, "And what, you are?" He said, "How can I not be?" Lucas said as though to convey obviousness. And she said, "Because if the dispelling of a myth is all it takes to completely destroy your Christmas spirit, Lucas, then you never really had any to begin with." Janice felt compelled to emphasize. Lucas was about to respond when Janice stopped him in his tracks by continuing, "The problem, Lucas, is you became so obsessed with trying to prove the myth was actually real that you forgot to appreciate the true meaning behind the myth, the true meaning of the holiday." "What true meaning?" Lucas could not resist asking. "What's so magical about Christmas without Santa?" Then she said, "Well, for starters, how about bright twinkling lights amidst the darkest month of the year? How about family and friends getting together for food, for dancing, for celebration? How about city holiday traditions such as tree lighting festivals, Christmas parades, and Christmas movie watching, and community religious rituals? How about people taking time out of their busy schedules to be of service to one another? People doing volunteer work at homeless shelters, donating food and clothing, and, God willing, a little bit of their time to individuals who are less fortunate than they are. Lucas, the true magic of Christmas is inside of us all. You are the source of Christmas magic, not some myth. And Lucas, do I even need to mention the enormous amount of Christmas spirit it took for your dad to work as hard as he did to buy a toy he couldn't really afford because he loved his son that much? On top of that, he never said a word to you about that. He let you spend all these years believing Santa Claus brought it for you. Are you seriously telling me that it is upsetting to you to find out your father's blood, sweat, and tears, and I might add, love, got you that robot rather than the magic sack of a mystical being? Of a mythical being? Lucas took a deep breath, and Janice could sense she was getting through to Lucas. Yet at the same time, Lucas's nonverbal behavior displayed how his newfound wisdom was clashing with his disillusionment. You're right, Layla, Lucas conceded. You're absolutely right. I should have never believed in Santa Claus, he stated with surety. Janice took a deep breath and said, Lucas, the other day I was not just humoring you. I really meant it when I said there is nothing wrong with you believing in Santa. I mean, it is weird for a 22-year-old to still believe in Santa Claus, but there are plenty of people who, at least for my money, hold equally eyebrow-raising beliefs. Lucas, believing in Santa Claus was never your problem. Your problem is what you did with that belief. Instead of using it to enhance your own Christmas spirit, you chose to become obsessed with proving other people wrong, making other people look like fools. Lucas took a moment to soak in her words, to let them wash over him. Soon after, he realized she was right, so he slowly conjured up a smile. Then Janice approached him and encased him in a warm embrace. While they were hugging, she said, There's nothing wrong with believing in a beautiful myth, as long as you place higher priority on the valuable lessons to learn from that myth rather than proving whether that myth is true or not. Once they separated from one another, Lucas said, You're right. I guess I did lose sight of the real reason Christmas has been so special to me all along. Now feeling a little bit better, Lucas grabbed a hold of Janice's right hand, raised it up to his face, and kissed it. I'm sorry. I mean, I do still love Christmas. Uh, I'll tell you what, Lucas. Go to your cubicle and get to work. Lucas raised his eyebrows as she continued. Try to clear your mind of everything you saw and experienced in Frostica. And he said, Can I have lunch with you? She said, No, you and I will not have lunch together today. But I hear the agency is having quite the Christmas get-together this next coming Wednesday. And of course, we are all invited. And he said, Yeah, oh yeah, at the Shoundery, Lucas mentioned as his eyes perked up. I heard they have some real holiday season magic at that place. Indeed, Janice agreed. With an expression of a reflection on his face, Lucas said, Layla, even though I was disappointed at, not exactly finding what I was looking for, still, I want to thank you very much for caring enough to show me what you showed me. I didn't realize it, but I really needed that. No problem, Lucas, Janice mentioned, but I just took you there. You found the answers on your own. He said, well, thank you. She said, no problem. And Lucas? And he said, yes, Layla. And she said, in the office, please call me Janice. He said, oh yeah, right. Your secret. Yeah, sorry. She grinned and said, no problem. Look, how about you meet me here in my office at the end of the day and maybe we can talk some more? Lucas began to smile as he said, I'd like that. And he stayed smiling as he made his way out the door. The end. Thank you for joining us for all 8 parts of Frostica by Eric B., author of the Night Crusaders series. Please like and subscribe.